Greetings everyone. In today's video I have decided to share with you my ultimate build, which is something very rare I would do. Usually top players or those who actually done a lot of tests and stuff, they prefer to keep these buildings for them, but since we are at the end of the meta and it's not actually gonna affect anybody since Doomsday is over already, and we will have at least 2 to 3 more generations, maybe new Tempest, new stuff. So I decided to share this with you so you can benefit from it. Keep in mind, it's only few players who know about this build, how to utilize it to the maximum, and how to actually counter it and benefit from it. Okay, and I'm gonna go in deep details in why some of the statements like is not gonna fucking do any shit for you. Okay, so don't be one of those noobs, please. Okay, so now let us start by explaining the most important elements of this build. By using Donald itself, you are going to trigger something called a burning build, but you could say it's the mini building build, and it's actually weak alone. Like if you have seen Marco's video, he explained that if you use just Carlos and Maya, you will be able to easily counter Donald fire build. But because this is the weak fire build, there is the retardedly strong fire build, which I'm going to again explain how does it even work. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is, for this build to even work, you need to have Donald and none other than Lane. The reason is very simple. Is because they both synchronize together very well, and this guy will actually apply more damage to the enemy if they are being affected by disarm. Now some people are saying that disarm doesn't work. No, disarm does work, but every few turns and not in the right target. But this actually does work if you put it with Lane. And again, as I mentioned before, since some of the descriptions is wrong, it does work, but it does affect the different troop type that you have not being told about. So anyway, this is the first step you have to do, and for the sets I have already here prepared with the help of my friends, that what do you actually need for this build to work. Okay, so we have here the mid fire build and the max fire build. The difference between those two is that the max fire build is for those who are extremely lucky with Tempest, or they are actually whales who can afford it. Now let us start with the mid fire build, which most likely most people would be able to access to. Now what do you need for the fire build and why do you need it? First, if you are using the Shokan one, then you need at least a fire trigger, and I will explain to you what does a fire trigger means. Okay, so let me explain how would you actually make this build using the Tempest. Because if you decided to just use Donald's and Lane, it's not gonna be as effective as you think it would be. So how actually you are supposed to build the fire build? You need the following. You need to have a fire trigger. This is called a fire trigger, and we prefer to use this fire trigger on an infantry. Okay, so let me explain how does the fire trigger works and why it would work. Let us go back to the skills and read it again. So here it says the Whiskey Inferno. Every 4 turns applies burn to the first 2 enemies rows, dealing 30%. For 2 turns damage is increased by 60% for the disarmed enemy. And then comes here every 2 turns deals 60% damage to the burning enemies, and damage is increased by 50% for the bleeding enemies, which is why a bleeding character, a bleeding hero would work. Within our case, it's Lane. It would literally synchronize very well with this guy. But if you paid attention, it says every 2 turns deals 60% damage to the burning enemies. So if you don't have a burning enemies, this basically skill is not gonna work. And if you went back to the first skill, it says every 4 turns applies burn. So basically this skill is completely useless unless there is a burning in the enemy, and since there won't be any burning in the enemy in the first few turns, then the skill will be shut down unless you put a trigger. And this is the trigger, the Scorched Earth. Again, allow me to explain. I think I have the picture with me that is going to explain the reason. I have it in here. Okay, so here is how rounds works, and I'm trying to make it very simple here. As you can see, the skill mentioned here that does start burning at 4th round. You see, it would start burning at 4th round. However, if you have any burning that has happened before that, it will still trigger the skill. So how would this be possible? Here, how would this happen again? You see, fire check, as mentioned in here, does trigger at 2 rounds, 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, 14 rounds, 16 rounds, right? The skill of Donald himself starts from 4th round, ends at the 5th round, starts again after 4 rounds, ends at 9th round, and again starts at 12th round, ends up at 13 rounds. So what do we do in this case? We put a Tempest. This Tempest has the skill that is called Scorched Earth. Why? Scorched Earth applies burn every 3 attack, and since 1 attack is 1 round, this means the fire start triggering at 3rd and 4th of every single round. Like at round 3 it start happening. Now you tell me, what is the point of that Fire Tempest, since the skill requires an even number, 2, 4, 6, 8 here. So the skill itself ends at 5th round. There will be a check, fire check, at round number 6 to see if there is any burning enemies. Here the Tempest will shine. By applying fire, even if it's a shitty amount of damage, weak ass damage, it will still trigger the fire check for Donald, allowing him to deal fucking massive damage at round 6. It would work at round 6, it would do nothing at round 7. Then once it triggers at round 6, keep in mind his skill himself is going to trigger again at round 8, and then the Fire Tempest again won't be that useful in the round 8. But here is another thing, at round 10 it's going to trigger again, and so on and so on. These are the rounds, so this should actually give you an idea how to build up the Fire Tempest, and why something shitty as Scorched Earth will actually be very good when you do that. And that's the main reason why we do apply the fire, Scorched Fire, on the infantry, because we don't really need the damage from the fire, we just need the trigger. You can use it into rider, that's up to you whether it is a rider or infantry. Now there is another interesting thing about Donald when it comes to the max fire building Donald, and on why he becomes fucking crazy when you put the fire equipment on him. So for the fire equipment, where it is, he gets an extra buff by equipping the blue ultra, and only him and nobody else. So if you try to mimic this fire build in someone else, it's not gonna work, because it needs the fire ultra to make it more efficient. You have here, that's an example. This sword, that's a hunter sword, okay? I want you to read this carefully. Every 4 turns deals 5% damage to all enemies, applies burning to all enemies every 3 releases. If we only take the first part, it's gonna sound a very fucking weak ass skill. It deals literally 5% damage only. But if you use it in a control hero, this skill damage is going to be increased by 17%, which means this skill will jump in damage 4 times. If it used to kill 50k, it should be killing 200k. If it kills 5, it's supposed to kill 20. So basically 4 times damage. But this only happens if you decided to put it in a blue hero. At the same time, one of the main reasons when it comes to the fire build, we don't use Michelangelo. It is wrong to use Michelangelo, is because for Lane, you can make her part of this fire build by equipping fire pyrolistic eruption and gain the extra fire damage for her too, and she will benefit from that. This is why we usually use Lane with Leon. Since Leon is blue enforcer, he will force the hero, doesn't matter which hero is being used, to be able to benefit from this. As you can see, he is a blue, which means it is more likely and better in general to use Leon if you have this blue Tempest. Otherwise, you can just switch back and use Michelangelo, as that's the only real benefit for it, the fire build. So do I have, let me try to find if I have any report. So here I wanted to show you one of the reports, and here fighting a strong rally leader. Here, that one of the battles which I used the fire build. Here, as you can see, almost everything is red with the exception of my stats, because that the Tempest I was using is literally fucking crazy. Is lower, but again, let us take a look at this one. These are the heroes. Everything the heroes here used is Marcus, but look at the damage. Look how freaking powerful the damage is. My hunter kills is literally retarded. And for the Tempest that I have been using, one of them had the trigger. I think this one. Yes, it had the Scorched Earth. I didn't really fucking care about the kills from here. I just wanted the trigger. At the same time, look at the fire. Look at each one of these fire kills. People would say kills doesn't look like a lot, but let me tell you something. The kills that comes from here, from these fire ultras, most of them are backline kills or riders, because they are the one which has lower HP, so you are actually targeting more a backline by this one. So even if it looked in paper less, but it's really fucking a lot. Yeah, and this is the sword, the ultra sword again, which has helped. This is even normal. It's not even that interesting. Of course, I'm not talking here about Tempest. I'm just saying in general how fucking powerful it is. Even if the person himself was using Rising Valor, it doesn't really mean shit if it's, unless you plan to put 4 or 5 Rising Valors, not gonna do shit to you. Why? Here is the fucking reason. Look, the hunters dies. Literally, you are going to play with no fucking hunters. 22 turns, hunters fucking die. So what is the fuck you are going to do here? What else do you think that has made me win in this? The guy is literally stronger than me in every single aspect of the game. Here, what do you think? my ass being bad. This one comes from the lethality. I believe all of you guys know about it, but that doesn't mean like every single other fucking shit is I'm rid on. Yet I still won. If you want to counter such build, you need to be generally fucking strong and have multiple of rising followers if you wanted to counter such build. Otherwise, there is no hope for you to be able to counter it. And the problem with rising follower, it's complete bullcrap. If you decided to use the rising follower every single time without an extra set of tempest, literally anyone will just beat you, because rising follower requires the enemy to have fire. If they don't have fire, it's almost as it is fucking useless. One more thing here is this is a very crazy report. Yes, I have lost in this report, but look at this, okay? You know, guys, Keith is massively strong, and this is before I even push any moral thing. I was 500 at this stage, but look at the amount of kills and the difference. Okay, look at this, because it's really super funny. Look at the performance. During the performance, I had no behemoth, so there was no behemoth kills. I had no MK2 behemoth, there was no behemoth kills. But at the hunters, I killed his hunters at round 26 and riders at round 40. He did manage to kill my hunters way, like literally my hunters is round 59, because there was actually no counter for this build. People didn't know yet how to counter these stuff. Yeah, look at this, guys, look at this, so you understand how retarded this building is. Minus 21% in Tempest, minus 6% in heroes, 56% in vehicles. I think I didn't even have vehicles. And MK Behemoth 1 is 11%, 14% for MK2. So in short, that's basically it. If you want, that's going to be the build for you. This is the picture if you want to use it. This is going to be mid-fire build. All of these the Tempest would work in the build, that would perform nice, and all of the other Tempest 2 would still perform nice if you want. And the reason this was not released early, so it doesn't fuck up the market and doesn't fuck up those who tried hard, made their own tests stuff. So you guys, a word of advice, just move your ass and do tests and stuff, and you will see for yourself how much fucking lot of money it costs and time until you come up with these tests. That's why it's not really appropriate to release such tactics and Tempest information early on, but since everything is over already, so yeah, it is completely fine to do so. So that's, guys, and have a wonderful day. There is another 2 builds, but I'm not going to release now. I'm going to see first if you are going to get me 800 likes on this video or not. See you guys.